Hi Fems, I am Violette de Ayala. I'm the founder and CEO of FemCity, and you're joining me today for FemCity TV, your home for soulful business advice. And today's topic is all about good relationships versus bad relationships. This topic came to me from a couple of femmes who were really going through relationship struggles. And so today we're going to talk about what a good relationship is, what a bad relationship is, how to work through that, how to determine which is which, and how you can go ahead and start creating better scenarios for yourself. So let's go ahead and break it down into what a good relationship is and what a bad relationship is. A good relationship is one relationship that makes you feel really great about yourself. You feel alive. You feel like you can conquer anything. This relationship really brings out the best in you. A bad relationship is one that makes you feel really bad about yourself. For some reason, all of a sudden you're doubting, you have lower self-esteem, you're really unsure, and you kind of feel overall icky. So those are the two differences between a good relationship and a bad relationship. So you might be listening to this and saying, okay, I really don't even know how to even get started to determine what is good and what is bad. And sometimes it's a little murky. Sometimes it's a little bit of gray in between the two. I'm going to share with you now two different ways to go ahead and determine whether it's a good relationship or a bad relationship. And this can be in business or in personal life as well. The two tips that I'm going to share with you today on distinguishing between bad and good can really be brought into light with the first tip. The first tip is, how does that person make you feel, right? So you're hanging out with them, you're talking with them, and they walk away and you're feeling really, really bad about yourself. That sounds intuitive, that sounds so simple, but so many of us miss that point. We don't really know why sometimes when people walk away, we feel worse about ourselves. Maybe we're like in a funk throughout the rest of the day. Like, what happened? What went wrong? We were in a really good mood and now we're in a bad mood. Sometimes it can be connected to a human that you have just connected with. They've brought out the bad side of you, right? The stuff that doubts yourself, the ones that tell you can't do certain things. So that's generally a really good way to determine whether it's a good relationship or a bad relationship. The second tip, or the second way to determine whether it's good or bad for you, is to figure out the balance of this relationship. This could be, again, in business and in personal. So you might be working with a client and you're doing a lot of great work, and in exchange, they're giving you a really good check, right? So that's a really good balance. You're doing so much work for that person, and then that person is paying you so much in exchange. Everything is about exchange, receiving and giving. The same thing holds true in personal relationships. Maybe you're the friend that always gives, and that friend is always taking and never really gives back to you. That might be a really big red flag that that's not the best relationship for you to be in. Perhaps it is one that's imbalanced. Sometimes you treat that person out for lunch, sometimes she gives you a gift, and that is one that's generally in a really good state of flow. It's not always going to be perfect, right? Things are not always going to be 50-50 all the way. But you should really look at the balance of the overall relationship. Is it always in flow? Is it always giving you what you're giving to that relationship? The balance is key. So many times I see femmes that are in great business relationships, but perhaps that is the one part, right? They make you feel really good, but you always feel like you're the one giving more than the other person. And you've been doing that for years and you feel exhausted. That would be a really big red flag that it might not be the best relationship for you. Now you might be asking yourself, that's great, now I know. I have like all these really bad relationships in my life and I can't do anything about it. I work with these people, they're in my family. I can't really make any different choice right now, so I'm stuck in this scenario. What can you do? I'm going to share with you 3 tips that you can go ahead and implement into your life to go ahead and work with these relationships that might not be the best for you. The first tip is, you can love from afar. It is a sentence that I love saying and sharing. Loving people from afar. So if you have the opportunity to go ahead and distance yourself a little bit, that will really make a huge difference in the way you feel about yourself and your connectivity to that person. So perhaps it's someone who sits next to you. Maybe you can figure out a way to sit a little bit further away. Maybe you can go ahead and go into meetings with other people. There are certain things that you can kind of do to shift so that you're not with them all the time. If it's a relative, maybe you just do more online. Maybe you send them more gifts so that you don't have to see them physically all the time. There are certain things that you can do and edit to go ahead and make it so that you're not with them 24/7. So that's the first tip. The second tip is, if you know you're going to be in a meeting with someone who's got, bad juju for you, or if you have to go to an event that really has a lot of people that you think are in a bad kind of relationship category, what you can do is after that, really embrace yourself with something that you love. Maybe it's a relationship with your best friend from childhood. Maybe it's your coworker that always makes you smile. Really make sure that you are intentional with the time before and after these bad relationship scenarios so that you can bring out more love, right? It's like kind of going into a bad situation, but then stepping away and having so much really good stuff going around. Maybe you go see a movie, maybe you hang out with some funny people, maybe you watch a comedy. There are ways to go ahead and water down the feelings that you get with people in that bad relationship scenario. The third one is, and this one's going to sound really out of the box, but I have used it personally, and I used it for a couple of years as well. I had a really difficult client many years ago, and all the meetings were always filled of like fires and high stress. And so what I would do is I would sit in my car and close my eyes and mentally prepare myself to go in. I always knew it was going to be stressful. It was always going to be filled with chaos, and I couldn't really make any different choices, right? I have to go into that meeting. I can't love them from afar. I can't add more love at that moment. So I'd sit in the car and really mentally prepare myself and put myself in a bubble, kind of like this see-through bubble that nothing could penetrate, right? No bad words, no bad juju, no really toxic energies. And it really helped me walk into the meetings with more confidence and more backup, right? Like I felt like I just had this bubble around myself that really protected me from the energies of that room. I used that for a couple of years. Every time I've had friends that have used it, it has worked for them as well. So I know it'll work for you as well. Just mentally prepare yourself. It is a full inclusive bubble that will prevent you from absorbing any of that in your life. So I hope those tips help you. You are not alone if you are in some bad relationships in work or in personal, but there are some ways that you can go ahead and shift and make it so that it's a better scenario for you. I hope that they help. Let me know and visit us at FemCity.com for more content like this, and I'll catch you here next week as well. Bye.